But the big performance predictors across time are intelligence and conscientiousness. Now, if the damn game is random, which the statistics seem to indicate, or at least that you can model it using processes that model random processes, why in the world do IQ and conscientiousness, we'll just stick with those two for now, why in the world do they predict success? So does anybody have any ideas about that? Let's start with IQ. I mean, for example, if you apply your IQ to the stock market, if I distributed you all a bunch of money and I measured your IQ and I said, okay, put together a portfolio, you get to pick 30 stocks, you can't sell them for a year, you get to sell them at the end of the year. What's the probability that the high IQ people would pick a better set of stocks than the low IQ people? The answer to that, as far as I can tell, is 0. It's not gonna, because you can't pick stocks, as it turns out. All the information is already eaten up. So and the stock market's an interesting analogy of the environment. You know what I mean? Because the stock market is basically an index of the continually transforming human, economic, and social environment. It's basically random. You can't predict the damn thing, even if you're smart. So why is it that smart people win across time? And then again, why is it that hardworking people win across time?
We mentioned each peg on the Galton board as like a choice point in life. Then like the people with a higher IQ are more likely to choose the choice point.
No, but that's only a restatement of what I just said. It's not a causal account. You're basically saying that the high IQ people make better choices. Yeah, but if it's a random environment, how can they?
I'm thinking instead of money, we can view it as opportunities and genetics, which make somebody adaptable in multiple environments. And each coin flip as each subsequent generation of that lineage, so that there is an increase, like the more good adaptable genetics, emotional stability, and situational wealth you have, the more likely your next generation has, like they have to lose.
Okay, so what about a given individual? Forget about it playing across time. And that's also a weird thing, because some of the single-celled organisms that were your ancestors 3 billion years ago are still single-celled organisms. Whereas here you are, same environment, roughly speaking. So there's this tremendous branching of possibility across time. And you might say, well, IQ is adaptive, which is a terrible word, adaptive. It's like, yeah, okay, so how do you account for all the single-celled organisms? They're just not that bright, but there they are. There's more of them by weight than there are of us people by weight. So I've battled this out a bunch of different ways, and you can think about this and see what you think. I mean, the first thing that seems to be the case is that you don't have to play one game. Like imagine that you're sitting around with your friends, and there are 50 board games going on, and you can keep a hand in each of them. Well, then, at some point in one of the board games, you're going to start to amass some success, right? Just by chance. If you're playing 50 board games, in 25 of them, after playing for some time, you're going to be at the top of you're going to be moving towards the top 50% rather than the bottom. We might say, okay, play 50 games, play 20 turns, throw away the ones that you're doing the worst in, the 5% that you're doing the worst in, and then just keep doing that until you end up with the one game that you win. And maybe you can do that better if you have high IQ because you're faster. So maybe all that happens is that if you're smart is that you can play many games faster. And as a consequence of that, you can choose the ones that you seem to be winning and stick with those. And then maybe what happens with conscientiousness is that you actually stick to them. So that means that you actually don't have to predict the future in order to master it. It means that you have to simulate multiple futures, keep your options open, and sort of play dynamically as the environment unfolds. So now, it might be more complicated than that because it's also possible that in some environments, at least for local periods of time, the game is actually not random. So it's funny. Like, do you think is Monopoly random? What do you think? Everybody here has played Monopoly, I presume, right? Is there anybody who hasn't? Okay, so what do you think? Do the smart people win Monopoly more often?
I think it's the people that play.
You think so? You would say it's the conscientious people that win more.
Say what each move we.
Yeah, well, it's pretty clear that you can lose stupidly in Monopoly, right? Although I'm not sure if you can win intelligently. You can avoid obviously bad choices. Like one choice would be don't buy any property and just hold on to your money. That seems to be a losing strategy, right? That'll wipe you out. So maybe another thing that smart people can do is that they don't do things that are self-evidently that make it certain that you'll lose. It might be something like that.
That's it for today's video. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for good luck. See you in the next one.